All right, let's take a closer look at these looming midterms. We bring in Alayna Treene, congressional reporter at Axios. Alayna, thank you so much for being with us. Let's start in Pennsylvania. You wrote an article about Democrats now questioning why Fetterman agreed to participate in that debate. It has now been 2 days since said debate. Has there been any new insight into why he did?
Yeah, well, it was a tough night for him, and I think I spoke with many Democrats, those in Pennsylvania lawmakers, people who work very closely alongside the Fetterman campaign, and they all acknowledged that he really struggled, and that it might have hurt him more than it did boost him. And if you look at what the campaign has said, they felt it was really important that Fetterman get up on the debate stage and show voters that he's not going to be afraid of Dr. Oz. He's going to show that he is fit to serve, like his doctor has said. But it wasn't very encouraging to a lot of people I spoke to, and a lot of my sources who are in Pennsylvania and really want Fetterman to win. I mean, that was the thing. I didn't only speak to Republicans. Republicans had much sharper criticism of the Democratic candidate, but Democrats who want him to win really, feeling dissatisfied with his performance. And of course, it's a tough thing to talk about because it's a very sensitive subject. He just underwent a stroke 5 months ago, and there's only less than 2 weeks now until his race, and it's going to be very, very important to the Senate who wins in this. I mean, if Fetterman wins, it could be the key to holding on to the Democratic majority, and if Dr. Oz wins, it could be the key to flipping the Senate and having Mitch McConnell potentially become the Senate Majority Leader again. And so a really important and crucial race that everyone was watching, and to see him stumble in the way he did, I know was disheartening to many people.
All right, Alayna, let's push out from Pennsylvania. Let's take a bigger picture look here. Democrats seem to be retooling their strategy, now going big on the economy. But is that going to be enough to hold off what seems to be some increasing Republican momentum?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Democrats have been pushing President Biden to go after this message more and sooner. I was reporting about this months ago. I talked to many Democrats on the Hill, particularly moderates and the frontliners in more vulnerable races. And they told me that we need to be leaning into the economy more. We need to be talking about inflation and how, if we hold on to power, how we will lower costs. And I do think that abortion, the Dobbs decision, became a big energizing message for Democrats. It still is, but that big boost that we saw late in the summer and into early fall, showing that Democrats might be closing the gap, has begun to falter. And that message, a lot of people are worrying, has become stale now because they've hammered it over and over again. Is the same message going to be as effective with just a couple weeks left to the midterms? And so seeing them now frantically moving money around and also leaning into different messaging, it's hard to say whether it'll have a huge effect. I mean, we're only 2 weeks now away from the election. There's early voting happening in many states. We're seeing big numbers of early voting in Georgia. And it might be a little bit too late. And I know that Biden's leaning into this. He's doing a lot of travel, trying to hammer down on this economic message. But again, with just so little time left until November 8th, there's only so much they can do at this point.
Right, and 14 million people have already voted. Alayna, an interesting moment on NewsNation last night. Leland Vittert was speaking with legendary journalist Bob Woodward about President Biden and what you spoke about, how his messaging has shifted. Let's listen.
As you listen to what Biden says, he will talk about my friends in Congress, the Republicans. He, as you know, he is somebody who tries basically to heal wounds. But you're exactly right. The divisions have become so great that Biden has joined this chorus of, oh, there's the other side and then there's us, the good side.
All right, Alayna, so we don't have much time left, but do you think that rhetoric resonates with those coveted undecided voters?
He hopes it does. I mean, Biden has long been seen as someone who's, for a Democrat, to be more in the center. But of course, we've seen since he's become president, he's become far more progressive and pushing more progressive and bold ideas. And it has turned off, I think, large swaths of voter who were hoping that he would be the centrist that people wanted. The progressives, Biden wasn't their first choice. A lot of moderates rallied around him in the primary and ultimately helped him win the primary and become the Democratic nominee in 2020. And he's really catered to the left of the party throughout his administration so far. I mean, not completely, of course. I don't think he would call himself a progressive, but he's really embraced many of those ideas. And it's hard to see whether that'll be, whether this new messaging that he has will be a deciding factor for a lot of these people who were hoping that maybe he would be more center or center left than he has been.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.